Welcome to another exciting episode of Unleashing Your Potential with myself, Coach Toriso, where we focus on unleashing your potential and enhancing your way of living. So in the studio today, we have two amazing coaches where we're talking about is self-love selfish? You can see already it's quite intriguing, right? But stay tuned because of the coaches that are in the building. Welcome, coaches. Welcome. It's good to have you here. Please just introduce yourself and what you do, what you specialize in. Yeah, let me start with Coach Thabo here.
Hi, Teresa.
Yes.
And I'm a relationship and marriage advisor or a coach.
Yes.
So I'm a husband, married to one wife,
All right.
and blessed with 4 children. So I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for
Okay,
having me.
great. Thank you. Coach Nomasonto.
Hi dear.
Yes, just introduce yourself to the viewers out there.
Yes, I'm Nomasonto Poshezwane and I am a sacred relationship coach. And what I do mainly is to help people understand themselves even better, understand how to manage their own emotions, and how to relate with other people as well in a much better way than they already are.
Okay.
And yes, I'm a mother, I'm a wife to a very beautiful husband, very handsome for that matter.
Okay, no polyandry, ne? No
Not
polyandry.
yet.
You're not thinking of that.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. So there's a possibility.
I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No polyandry.
Yeah.
Yes, a mother of 3 boys, 2 adults and 1 child.
Okay. What led you to be a sacred relationship coach?
What led me to do this work was realizing that a lot of us, we want to believe that we understand ourselves, and yet we don't.
Okay.
And what we normally do, we want to other people, which is the people that we are in relationships with, we want them to understand us, whereas the actual problem is that we don't even understand ourselves in the first place.
Okay.
So that is why then I stepped into this into the market to put in this gap, to work on this gap where helping an individual understands themselves even better from what they think they are, because there's a difference between what you think you are and who you truly are.
Okay.
It's 2 different
Totally
things.
different things. But then there must be a journey where you decided that I know you want to help others, but it is something that is so personal that maybe you went through a journey where you said, based on me getting this healing or this wisdom or getting this, I want to share with people. That journey of yours that led you to literally to say, because I believe you have to become first before you can actually share it or expand it out there to other people. So what's your journey to?
You know, it's interesting that you're asking me that. You know, I'm one of those, when I look at the ladies, when they come and say, you know, I wanted this type of a man with a whole long list, you know. Yeah, I've been there, I've done that.
Yeah.
And then I was one of those people who was looking for these specific things in individuals. And what tended to be a shock to me was me realizing that the things that I've been wanting from these men were the things that actually my soul were yearning from me. So that is when in that discovery, then I realized that there is a gap, because you go out there, you wanting this person, while in actual effect, you are actually looking for yourself in the wrong places in other people.
So indeed it has to start with me before wanting Mr. whoever. So whatever those qualities that you wanted in a guy, you had to become that you first.
You need to recognize those in you
Or
first.
in you, okay.
Yes.
All right, I get
As
you.
long as you don't recognize them, even if you do receive them or you find a person with them, you are not going to see them because you don't recognize how that looks to you.
So if I'm saying, Thabo, you can join in here. So I'm the type of a person, not me per se, but a viewer out there who will say that I want a man with money, but yet I don't have money. So now, do I have to become it first in order for me to attract that? Or how does that work?
When you say, or let me put it, personalize it.
Sure.
When I say I want somebody with money,
Sure.
the reason I'm wanting somebody with money is because there is something that I see that is lacking in my life.
Oh, lacking.
So now, and I'm thinking that finding somebody who's got what I do not have is going to help me, is going to help.
Okay, to fill that gap.
Fill that gap.
Okay.
So that is why I go and look for somebody with money.
And in actual fact, the fulfillment needs to start from within.
Exactly.
So if you're looking for somebody with money, rather try to look within yourself and see if you cannot find ways to make the money. Because remember, people come with attachments. So if you're looking for someone with money, basically that means you're looking for the money.
Okay.
You're not looking for the person.
For the person.
That is why you find people who says, you know what, I would rather marry someone who is rich. They will enjoy the riches, but they will not enjoy the person who brings the riches.
Yeah.
So that is where the problem starts.
Okay.
But if you are the one who's actually making the money, you get that fulfillment. And also it brings some form of self-awareness.
Yeah.
To say, in actual fact, I can do this.
Sure.
So that whenever you meet that particular person, you guys actually just
Connect.
get well together
Just
and you connect, because he's got something that ministers to you.
Okay.
And at the same time, you don't only focus on that which ministers to you, but you also focus on him, because that person also has to minister to your soul.
Okay.
So we don't want to find people saying, I'm looking for someone with money, but even when you got the money, you still are not fulfilled.
Yeah,
because in actual fact,
You want it.
you want the you in you that can bring the fulfillment through money.
I get you. You are a relationship coach, right?
Yes.
So, and I believe as a relationship coach, in the relationship itself, there's a relationship with self.
Yes.
Relationship with yourself. What led you to become actually a relationship coach? Is it because you're all Romani? Is it because of you just love love? Is it because, I don't understand. What led you to just become a relationship coach?
Look, it's actually a very funny story, Teresa, because I used to be one of those guys who would write notebooks, write songs. I remember I used to love the Mariah Carey album Music Box. I knew each
Revealing
and
his
every
age.
lyric.
Sure.
So what happened is that I would actually write these songs, and then I developed into writing love poems. So I would write notebooks, with love, and mostly the ladies will just take my notebooks, especially my schoolmates.
Okay.
And maybe I should search for them, because I still need that. I need that for reference. But now, when I realized that actually love is a purpose for which I live, is when I became born again. When I realized that, in actual fact, the very same thing that God has been teaching me all along, even as a child growing up, I was a loner most of the time. And when I'm alone, I would actually rather spend time writing love songs, and poems and so forth. So when maturity kicks in, that is when I realized perhaps this is the field that God wants me into. Then I just started having, you gotta have it in you first. You gotta have to discover it in you first. Am I only doing this for money, or is it passion that I'm actually born with? Or is it something that God has said, this is where I want you? And when I got to that stage of realizing, in actual fact, love is your purpose and you're going to have to live for that. That is when I realized I cannot keep it only to myself. I have to actually share with other people. And that is what helped me, or else made me realize this is what you're called to do.
So you've been speaking love from a young age.
I have been speaking love. There's a lot of things that actually influencers want to get to that. In my case, it was that element of loneliness. Where you feel like, I don't think anybody around me really likes me. When you go out and play with other kids, when we're playing soccer growing, they will pick each other and you'll always be the last one. And you're like thinking, this,
what's wrong with me?
Guys would understand, it's more like, hey, you really can't play soccer at all, But at the end of the day, you realize perhaps I am not somebody who's supposed to be where they are or do what they love. And let me rather find my own purpose. And look, it has ministered to me, even as an individual, being alone. I can clearly say that God has been ministering to me from that age to say, Muna, love is where we want you, and that is what you definitely have to do.
Right, great. So when you're talking about the topic of self-love, is self-love selfish?
Look, if you need to have a certain level of self-love, you're going to have an element of selfishness in you.
Okay.
You definitely need that.
Okay.
But how do you define the selfishness that would actually help you to develop into having that self-love? It is not about, I don't need you in my life.
All right.
but it's a question of saying, I need to have time to myself so that I can understand.
So that's where the selfishness comes
Yes, that is where the selfish, like I'm saying, you need to understand those different levels where you say, let me have time to myself. I don't have to go out with you, Toriso, because I need to have that time
Me
with
time.
me.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
and no matter how I would love to spend time with you, no matter how I would love to do things with you, but at the end of the day, I still need to be that selfish so that I can try and understand also the journey that I'm taking, the journey of self-love. Because in most cases, I only realize that self-love I can only be influenced by the external world, because every time I need to connect with people, you know, so, oh yeah, whenever they actually affirm me, oh, you're beautiful, you know, you're handsome, oh, your dress is beautiful, and I'm thinking that is self-love. But no, that is something that is actually influenced from external.
Okay.
But now, the true self-love that would actually even give you that element of selfishness is where you say, let me be by myself with me.
Okay.
Let me be with me.
Yeah.
Can I have that conversation with me?
Sure.
Where I need to understand, Mara, do you really love yourself? Do you really understand love?
Yeah.
Do you understand where you are in terms of your growth on the things of love?
Yeah.
So if I don't take that time from you and give it to myself, then I might actually think that me spending time with with Toriso, it's my self-love, whereas it is not.
Yeah.
It is love that is, I also need her
Sure.
to influence that love in me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I need to grow from within at the
Within,
same
sure.
time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to have you so you can throw those seeds. Hence, it's important to have the right people in your life, because the people that we have around us, be it family or friends, they are actually planting seeds in us. So if you always want to be with me, even in a time where I have to be with myself, by myself, then it's a problem, because I'm only going to nurture what you're planting in me. But will I understand that I also have seeds within me that I need to nurture? And you're also going to have to benefit from those seeds. But I believe that you're going to have to be that selfish. Withdraw from the world out there. Just be you.
What's your take on that? Is self-love selfish?
Actually, I wrote, I think it's 2 pages on my book, Plastic Men, about selfishness.
Okay.
And that's exactly my perspective is exactly like with Coach Thabo here. That in order for you to get to a point where you are loving yourself, you have got to be selfish with selfish, which is you giving yourself first what you want others to give to you.
Okay.
So what we have been told, the biggest problem that we are faced with in society is that there's certain meanings that were attached to certain words. You know, so now when you immediately when somebody says you are selfish, all of us, we want to throw our toys out of the court, because it's like, hey, you are this horrible person. But when you go and check what the definition of the word means, actually, it's you giving yourself first, you filling up your cup first before you can give to others. But because now it was meant or it was used in a negative context,
negative way,
so we then assume that it's something bad, but it definitely is. It's not. Actually,
so the society has made us to not love the word selfish, and we see it as like when somebody says that you're selfish, you just react. Me selfish? How come? I've been doing this and that and this and this. But I like what you guys are saying. You're seeing it from the other side to say actually that's not the true meaning of selfish. Selfish is actually just trying to put you first. How important is it, though, to put myself first in all this when we talk about self-love?
Actually, let's look at it. When somebody says to you, Tori, so you are selfish, they are actually mainly referring to something that they were looking for. They say that when they were looking for something from you, and you are not giving it back to them, so then they will tell you that you are selfish. Of which we should be seeing that actually I'm doing something right for this person to even recognize that there's something that they're not getting. They came to me looking for this thing, but because as we are sharing here, there's these negative connotations that have been given to these words, you immediately think that no, it's wrong. But the person who says that to you, they are saying it to you because they can recognize that you are putting yourself, they are not getting from you what you actually do not have, or you're not ready to give away.
In actual fact, selfishness can either be a constructive word, and it can also be a very destructive term.
Yeah.
So you need to understand when somebody says, "Hey, Toroso, you are very selfish."
Yeah.
You need to know, was I eating a meal and you were sitting here hungry and I didn't share with you?
Yeah.
Then I admit I was actually selfish.
Yeah.
But if it means you wanted me to answer a call at the time when I was busy with me and being myself, then I'm not being selfish.
Okay.
So it is you who's receiving that term who needs to actually decode it.
Yes.
Does this mean I'm actually a horrible person, or actually it means I actually just took time to be with myself? And then you are not going to condemn yourself if you understand the difference between those two. Because there are people who will say, sure, I am selfish. You have no idea how many couples we deal with because someone has been mad for the whole year because the spouse told him, but when you are very selfish. Without even understanding why, he or she said you are selfish.
Sure.
But just because we already attach wrong things or wrong meanings and definitions to these terms, you're thinking, now you're writing off everything. I've been with you for so many years. I've given you this and that. We've done this together. And today you're going to tell me that I'm selfish? Now, you are not looking at what makes them say you are selfish.
Sure.
Because if you can sit and discuss that, then you will eliminate a whole lot of misunderstandings.
It's also called self-love. Because when you love yourself, you need to set some time apart for yourself. And I hope the viewers are listening out there and they can hear what the coaches are saying. And I hope they can understand the true meaning of selfishness and self-love. So it is now your mandate now to go to the dictionary and understand what is selfish. And if there's somebody who said to you that you are selfish, try to understand what did they want from you that made them to say that you are selfish. On that note, we are coming together. Welcome back, guys. As we are unpacking this topic, is self-love selfish? Here with my coaches. Now, they explained a little bit on what is selfishness. Now, let's talk about dwell a little bit about self-love. I'm a viewer out there. I'm saying I hear a lot about self-love. Everywhere you go, self-love, it's more like a song. But how do I now start this journey of self-love? Where do I begin in loving me? Because of maybe the way I'm loving myself is not literally loving myself. It's just the way I've been experiencing love. But literally, what is self-love? How do I love myself?
Okay. Let's just start defining what self-love is and what self-love is not.
Okay.
I know every time when we think about self-love, we think of the pictures that we post,
selfies,
the selfies, hey, I'm at the spa, and then so forth. Yeah. Actually, self-love, that's according to me, it is giving yourself proper attention, being present in the moment with yourself. That is you giving yourself love.
Okay.
Being present in the moment with yourself.
Okay.
Meaning that when I am here, I have got to be physically, mentally, and emotionally present with myself. It doesn't matter that I'm looking beautiful, whereas I'm just looking beautiful and I'm ready to take the pictures, but I'm feeling awful inside. And I'm ignoring that part that I'm feeling and then just addressing this thing with, okay, it's fine that I'm looking beautiful, it's okay. But you are not really in the inside.
Okay.
It does not portray what is outside. So now when you give yourself love, it is when you give yourself the full attention as to how you are truly, fully feeling about yourself at the present moment. Now.
I'm glad she actually started there. Teresa, you need to understand that the opposite of self-love is self-hate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who don't have love within themselves. There are a lot of people who don't understand what love is.
Yeah.
There's a number of people who are not happy with themselves.
Sure, yeah.
They are not happy with what they are, where they are,
Sure.
and how they are. And at the same time, when you want to encourage somebody like that to understand where and how to find self-love, they need to start right from within. Where am I right now? Firstly, who am I?
Okay.
Am I happy with who I am?
Okay.
How did I become who I am? What is it that would actually help me to understand or identify the love that I have inside of me. Because I think it's an inside job, as they like to, to actually say it. You know, you cannot have self-love by what you absorb out there. This is something that you need to find from deep within yourself. If you, and especially as Christians, when you are a child of God, you need to understand that the love that I'm looking for is actually the love that God has already blessed me with. I do have this love. But now, how do I understand or make this love become the self-love that I have so that I can be able to give people love? Because then I'll be giving them something that I have inside of me. Because in most cases, we look for what we don't have, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it is impossible to give people what you don't have. Because when your heart is empty, what are you going to give somebody else? You will always want to take and take and take because you want to fill that void inside of you. So firstly, you need to start with understanding what is love. If you understand what love is, then you'll be able to say, okay, let me actually dwell within to try and figure out, do I understand this love thing? If I understand this love thing, then how can I have self-love? Does it only end in the external? When I dress nicely and then take pictures and pose and get 100 likes or I get 1,000 likes? No. Self-love is when you are able to be content with and within yourself. When you're able to say, look, Thabo, this is you. No matter what the world throws at you, you still remain you. You still love yourself, regardless of how somebody tells you, hey, when you are very ugly, or you are broke, or hey, nobody will ever marry you. Nobody. Can you still sit back and smile and say, look, but I know who I am. And most importantly, I know whose I am. So if I know and understand those two elements, then that will put me at ease. There is nothing that you will say, yes, we are emotional people most of the time. You know, if somebody says, Wena, hey, you are very hateful, you are very resentful, hey, you don't love people, you know, and then you dwell on those emotions because these people hate me, these people don't love me. But you have to sit back and say, why are they saying that? Sometimes you need to take the negativity as a constructive process to get you to a point where you connect with and within yourself. Am I really that? I keep telling people, don't always say, I don't care what people say about me. That is a very wrong perception. You need to care. Because when you care, it means you are taking, you're actually giving attention. Then you will scrutinize and decode, why did this person say that? You know, that's when you will realize, in actual fact, they are telling the truth. Here, I missed it. But oh no, they didn't tell the truth. That is how they understood it. But I'm still standing on the fact that I understand who I am and whose I am. So self-love is an inside thing. Yes, we need people who will influence that. We need people who will always inject those beautiful thoughts. We need people who will inject those beautiful moments, those beautiful vibrations that says, hey, love yourself. You are love. You need to have that self-love. But if you don't get that, always make time to sit back and have a conversation with and within yourself.
Actually, I always say to people, especially with ladies, how you look at yourself without the makeup and how you see yourself with the makeup, if you see the two as opposite and you don't see the beauty within the two, then you have not yet understood what self-love is. Just like with men, as in, let's say, money or possessions, if you do not see yourself outside of those things, when you do not have them, you see yourself differently, then you still have something to work on towards you loving yourself even better. Because you've got to love yourself as you are, not what you think you should be.
So actually self-love goes together with self-acceptance. I literally have to start by accepting me as I am, as how I look and all that. I struggled a little bit when I was growing up regarding that, but it took a whole lot of work and coaching and all of this stuff. But I think it's all possible. But then there's somebody out there who says maybe they are scared of speaking in public because of how they look. Because of they've been teased a lot from growing up. You know, kids can be somehow, you know, they can be cruel at times. But I don't know why kids are like this, but they sometimes can just do that. Maybe they're growing up, maybe somebody fell off the stage. Since then, they've got a fright and they feel like maybe this is how I speak, maybe that's how I talk, maybe that's How do I not just get to a point where I want to embrace, I want to accept? Ke qala kae? Where do I start?
I'm actually happy with the fact that you mentioned the issue of makeup. I've been trying to find ways to share a status on social media about the fact, you see that hey,
as a
it's
man.
exactly what exactly
I know how it
exactly
is though,
what said Thabo.
Yeah.
You better be careful about what you're gonna say right now, because when it comes to that image issue, you might be in trouble.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, even as a man, let me be honest with you, single men who are good and are looking for the right woman, believe you me, they are checking your confidence. They're checking your confidence.
Okay.
Because a confident woman says to me, nobody's going to toy around with
Yeah.
this woman.
Okay.
You know, and remember, I need to know that even when I'm not there,
Yeah.
you are able
Yeah, sure.
to secure yourself. And I'm not talking about money or material things.
Sure.
You know, that you can leave to me. I want my wife to drive the best, biggest car, because these small boys will look at her and say, hey, you don't go there.
Bamunyata.
You know, but what I love
Yeah.
is that I know that even when I am not with you, Tabiso, you are Torizo, sorry, you are able to say to somebody else, look, it's not because I'm married,
Yeah.
it's not because I've got a man, but it's simply because I just don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, if you can secure yourself, you are saying to me, Tabo, you can go anywhere with or without this woman, and you will still be secured. You will still be, you know, look, insecurity for men, it's also...
quite-
you know, a pandemic, even though we don't want to admit that.
Okay.
But if you secure me emotionally
Yeah.
on that area, it is better, because I'm saying I can trust this woman to take care of herself, whether I'm there or I'm not there.
Sure.
Now, look at the amount of ladies who come out with so much confidence because they've got a beautiful makeup, because they are dressed up in this, but when you sit and have a conversation with them, you now pick up the very same childhood issues that they're actually trying to cover up.
I get you.
But they are a mess inside.
Oh my God.
And you're very right, Toriso. You know, most of the issues that we are faced with, even in our adulthood, are the things that were actually imposed on us when we were children.
Yeah.
And since they were imposed on you while you were a child, it was in a family setup.
Yeah.
So you can only deal with them when you are in another family setup, one which is your marriage. Now, it doesn't matter what boyfriends 1, 2, 3 does to you. They are not going to fix that, because it was imposed on you when you were in a family setup.
I get you.
And it can only be dealt with when you are in another family setup. Marriages are dealing with issues that happened in their childhood. I've dealt with people who were raped in their childhood, and those that were raped in their adult, or, you know, you can tell that those that were raped in their adulthood, the impact is not as bad as when you were vulnerable. Because at that time, there's a lot of people that you want to question. Why did you not protect me?
Yeah.
Where were you when this was happening? Why did you not listen to me at that time?
Yeah.
Now, when you get to that, it will break you, because now somebody took that opportunity for you to learn about self-love, about self-understanding, about self-acceptance. They took that away from you. Now, if they took that away at that age, you're looking for someone who was supposed to be your father.
Hey.
You're looking for someone who was supposed to protect you and love you.
Yeah.
And now you find someone in this marriage who doesn't know how to do that. And now you start hating this guy, but in actual fact, you're hating the father who did not protect you while you were a child at that time. So the self-acceptance, it actually has to do with, what is it that made me not to accept who I am, how I am, and where I am. Because when we teach our children, God loves you. God made you the way you are. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what you have or what you don't have. You are made in God's image. So love that, accept that, understand that. No, as they grow and we teach them this, you know, then whenever they are adults, who's going to tell them otherwise? They will grow up with so much confidence to
wired
say,
in them.
I understand who I am
That's
from
true.
inside.
Yeah.
Not because you are telling me I'm beautiful, not because you are saying to me I'm handsome,
Yeah.
not because you tell me you love me,
Yeah.
then now I'm starting to think, oh, this is self-love.
yeah,
Now
getting
I'm
butterflies.
somewhere. No, because the moment you stop affirming me, I'm going to have a problem.
Yeah.
That's when you find a lot of wives fighting. You don't tell me you love me anymore.
Yeah, it's
Why?
true.
You know, even when I'm dressed up, I bought a new T-shirt.
don't even notice
You
me.
don't even notice me anymore. Why?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes in adulthood, we have a lot to deal with.
Ish.
I can see you dressed up in a nice, you know, shirt. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking about, I need to take my son to a soccer game.
Yeah.
Oh, he wants soccer boots. He wants that.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to juggle
All
you
of
know,
this stuff.
around all this stuff. And sometimes you want me to compliment you, even though I'm the one who bought you this lovely dress. You know, oh, love. And when I bought it, in my mind, this will look perfect on my wife.
Yeah.
And I understand you need that compliment. But if you are matured enough, and if you have that self-love and you've got that self-acceptance, you will know that my man bought this because he knew I'll do justice to this.
Yeah.
But
I like
how
that.
do we create that balance?
Yeah.
Self-love, self-acceptance, it starts from within.
Guys, I hope you heard what he said, right? Self-love, self-acceptance is start from within. On that note, we're going to unpack more when they come back with the coaches. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. So, Coach Nomasonto, let's talk about the solution. Let's talk about enhancing our way of living through self-love. As a second relationship coach, how do you normally...
Okay. You know, when we were talking about acceptance in the last segment, what I wanted to also add on to that before I go to where you are asking me. Acceptance, it is not only accepting what is good about where you are.
Okay?
Acceptance is about you accepting where you are as you are at that moment.
Elaborate
Meaning,
more. Yeah?
meaning, if I am feeling sad now, I've got to accept that at this present moment I am feeling sad.
Okay.
And do not want not to feel sad.
Ah.
Because sadness, just like joy, is an emotion that needs to go through and flow through your system and flow off you.
Okay.
So it's me not wanting to express certain emotions and not wanting certain emotions to flow through me and trying to block them. You are actually putting them somewhere. You are hiding somewhere in the body.
Okay.
So then it will eventually come out. So hence, the first thing is you accepting where you are.
Okay.
If you are feeling sad today, accept. That's the first thing. Today I'm feeling so sad. You know, and really sit with the sadness.
Okay.
You know, I know people don't want to hear this, but believe you me, when you sit with the sadness, it won't even last 30 minutes.
You reckon? Because we're all about to say, why should I focus on me feeling all these negative vibes?
You are only sitting with the emotion and feeling it.
Okay.
How does it feel? I'm feeling sad. You know, look at babies, for an example, for kids. A child, when they are sad or they want to cry, they cry.
Okay.
They won't say, I don't want to cry because my mother is going to hit me even more harder. They don't care. Even if you hit them harder, they still cry.
Yeah.
Because at that moment, that is the emotion that wants to flow through them, which is crying. So they let it all out.
And after crying, life goes on.
And after crying, life goes on. That's how we are, all of us.
Okay.
But because we are of this view that we've got to embrace only certain
good,
aspects,
yeah.
that is why we even dim the light of the things that we are good on. Because if you cannot hide another aspect of you and then think that you're going to brighten up the other. Whatever that you dim, if you dim your darkness, you are going to dim your light.
Oh. So
Because that is
okay.
the energy that is within you, in your vibration, that says we must dim
You
whatever
must dim.
that
So
is.
it matters not what we're dimming.
It
Dimming is
matters
dimming.
not. That is why even when you are joyful, you
Yeah.
will even be scared to express the joy as is,
Okay.
because you are not used to
Okay.
allowing the emotion
Yourself
that
to just feel.
to feel whatever
Okay.
it is at that
Okay.
present moment.
Okay.
So I always say to people, when you are feeling sad, don't say, I know, hey, this is wrong. Hey, I'm going to get all more sad. Because you're already projecting
Yeah.
what is going to happen. You are not experiencing.
Okay.
But when you feel sit that time and you are feeling sad and sit with that emotion, believe you me, it does not last even 30 minutes. When you are sitting with it and not, you are not conversing with it, you are not judging it, you are not dialoguing, just sitting and feeling the sadness. It doesn't even last 30 minutes. Then it's
We are
done.
humans after all. I mean,
Exactly.
humans, we have to experience all senses, all the emotions.
Yes.
And now it takes me back, we'll come back to the solution. I have a question based on that you have to experience or you have to let go or allow the feeling to happen. There's this thing we normally say that be strong, right? But then be strong. What does being strong mean? Does be strong mean that I must just act as if I don't feel the pain and therefore I'm a strong woman? But literally, what does strong mean? That strong means that I need to conquer 1, 2, 3, 4, then I am a strong woman. Because right now when you say that, allow yourself to feel the emotion. A lot of people went through the mental hospital based on, they just allowed themselves in the emotions, therefore they couldn't think better, they couldn't come out of the situation because it just started with, I just want to cry. Now crying just produces more of that crying. And now it's going back to Gary to say, when we say that be strong, how do I now be strong? By not dwelling too much on the, I don't know if I'm explaining it right.
I get you. I get you very well. Okay, this notion of, these are just another terminologies or words phrases that are just
misunderstood
and so forth.
Sure.
Because one of the things that has happened, we saw, for an example, somebody will say, you've just lost maybe 5 of your family members, and I come and tell you I'm a coach. No, Tori, so these things happen, be strong.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I've just explained now, that we are not allowing people to be human and express whatever it is that they are feeling at that moment.
Yeah.
At that particular moment when you are feeling sad or you are feeling a hurt because of this grief that you have gone through, the losses, that is exactly what needs to happen. You need to express that and feel it yourself. But now these things of us, then we come there and tell you, no, we see that you are in that depressive state. And then we assume that because you are in a depressive state, if we allow you to stay there, you are going to
go more down, and you
go
want
more
to
down.
sure.
But I can assure you, the reason we stay more depressed, it is because we try not to be depressed. We try, while we are depressed, we try not to be depressed. And then while we are doing that, we are prolonging the process. We are prolonging what needs to happen and flow out. We are prolonging it because we're trying so many ways not to be. If you can sit with a person that is depressed, they will tell you while they are feeling like that, they want to die, they want to whatever that they are feeling at that moment. When you ask them, what is it, when you go and converse with them, actually more while they are feeling that, at the back of their mind, there's something that keeps telling, but why are you feeling like this? You shouldn't be feeling like this. This is wrong, and so forth. And so that they listening to that voice, that is keeping busy telling them that you should not be feeling like this. You shouldn't look at this, what you have, this. But at the moment, this is what I'm feeling. So because there's this controversial communication that is happening within the person themselves, and then it prolongs it. It prolongs it. Okay. So that is why I was saying the first thing that we need to do, sit with it. This is how you sit with an emotion. Because maybe at times people will answer, and I don't understand it, how to sit with it.
Sure, please share.
Just sit and breathe.
Okay.
And listen to your body.
Yeah.
Finish.
So I need to shut my mind off things.
Just
because the mind is busy.
The mind will keep on being busy until you get to that space where you are actually more relaxed and more calm. But when you are sitting there, you are feeling sad, start breathing and feel the sadness. This sadness is feeling where it is in my heart, it's in my stomach. It is where, just keep on breathing.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I actually love what she's saying because, we want to try and suppress the thoughts and the emotions that we don't like.
Yeah.
And in the process, we actually deprive ourselves of the opportunity to dwell in a time for certain things to happen in our lives. You're going to have time to be happy. You're going to have time to be sad.
Sure.
And when you have that time to be sad, be sad. Don't actually suppress that emotion. I keep telling people, do not try to draw confidence out of sorrow. Because if you are trying to pull yourself out of a situation that requires you to dwell on the emotion, you are actually killing yourself in the process. That is where you end up getting this depression. Because your body says, it is time for me to cry.
Yeah.
It is time for me to
just-
sit and
sure.
keep quiet and
Yeah.
not do anything. But you are forcing it. No, we can't stay there. We have to get out of that situation. We have to get out of that position. And there are certain things which you cannot overcome at the moment when they happen. They will need you to engage with your thoughts. They will need you to engage with your emotions. And also, when you take time to engage on the emotion, you are actually giving yourself an opportunity to find out exactly what is it that influences this emotion. What is it that makes me to feel this way?
Yeah, the
But
trigger,
if you
yeah.
don't give it time, you are actually depriving yourself of the opportunity to find out why you are sad. This is why you always find people who are sad and they don't even know it. In most cases, they don't pay attention to why they are
feel
sad.
that
And
way.
sometimes to pay attention to why you're sad, you actually need to dwell in that emotion. If my wife said something that upsets me, and I'm saying, you know what, I'm going to ignore this, trust me, at the back of my mind, that emotion will always be there.
Yeah.
It will be like, she said this,
Yeah.
she said this,
Yeah.
she
It
said
keeps
this.
popping.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to be happy, try to ignore it. She said this, but I will only be free at the time when I say, but love, you said this to me.
Okay.
And I'm trying to be happy, but I can't because
can't. There's this
that
blockage
odd.
here, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that is why you have to pay attention to these different emotions that are happening in our lives. We struggle. We get depressed.
Yeah.
Some people say, you may make it sound like it's easy, depression is real and so forth, but you need to be careful the intake of information, particularly when it comes to the issue of depression. People those that I know who are depressed have got the best smiles. They've got their best life when you look
You
at them
see
from
that, yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
But how are they when they are locked behind their bedroom
Yeah.
doors?
By themselves.
Now, by themselves. You need to understand a person's happiness. That's why when someone is happy,
Yeah.
you're going to have to ask, what influences your happiness? And you'll realize that, no, I'm just running away from my problems. Then the best way to do that is to do, what do they call it? Retail therapy,
Okay.
friend therapy,
Alcohol,
and
friends,
all those kind of
parties.
things. Yes.
Yeah.
And you're, is that why you're happy? Yes, I'm just happy. Life must go on.
Yeah.
But when you leave that place where you were having this momentary happiness and you go back to face yourself, that's where the real you has to come out.
Okay.
Deal with this emotion so that you can understand that, hey, I need to love myself enough to understand that I am an emotional person. I need to love myself and accept
Yeah.
that I'm going through this right now.
I like that.
Let me go through it and I'll be happy thereafter.
Yeah.
Don't deprive yourself of that.
Just as we are talking, Thabo, I'm reminded of what my son, my 9-year-old, he's a best teacher, that one. He was teaching me even before birth, teaching me things. So he's
Okay.
still a best teacher even to date. His teeth have been coming out. So obviously all the kids, they know the story about the tooth fairy and so forth. So the first tooth came out and then we forgot, the tooth fairy forgot to go and put them on. The second tooth came out, they said the tooth fairy forgot. Then I remembered, did you Ghana? And then I went and I put in 20 rands. And then I'm asking him after a few hours, did you get, what happened to the tooth? Then he went, he goes and checks. I know when this child, so when something happens and he's excited. Now he's silent and I'm asking him how, what happened? Why are you, what's happening? He comes back. How, why the long face? He says, no, mommy, I'm sad.
Okay.
And I'm like, why are you sad? Didn't you find the money? He says, no, I did find the money, but it is only 20 rands. The first time one tooth came out, I got 30 rands. The second time the one came out, I got 20 rands. So because there was two, I was expecting more. So you see now already this child immediately he engaged with his what?
With
His
himself.
emotions. And then after we had that conversation with him explaining and his expectation and so forth, out of the blue, he's fine, he's done.
Go on that note, guys, thank you so much for being here. But where do people get contact of you? Handles, your websites, and all that?
Well, with me, my social media handle, Facebook, Thabo Majiye, and Instagram, Thabo_Majiye, and on Twitter is @tmajiye, TMAATJIE.
Okay.
Right? And if so, you can also visit our website, www.thelovetalksa.com.
All right. Thank you so much. Coach Nomasonto?
Yes, with me, I'm very active on Facebook. Nomasonto Poshazwane. I've also got a free Facebook group there, the Love Academy. And then on Instagram, it's Nomasonto Poshazwane. On Facebook, my page is Dr. Nomasonto Poshazwane. And YouTube, Dr. Nomasonto Poshazwane. You can get me there. WhatsApp, 064 518 4334.
Thank you so much. Thank you, coaches. Viewers out there, I hope you guys have had a mouthful from our coaches here. They are saying that self-love is actually you feeling yourself first before you can even go out there. They say that in order for you to accept who you are, you just have to acknowledge the emotions that you as human, you go through. If you want to cry, just cry, my baby. If you want to feel sad, just feel sad, my baby, because we are human just like that. And within no long time, you'll be feeling yourself all over again. So let us not deprive ourselves from feeling what we ought to feel, because that is actually self-love, self-embracement, and self-acceptance. On that note, we will see you guys on the next episode of Unleashing Your Potential with myself.